I'm just cleaning up my mat here before I move on to the next point. And I'm using a lint brush, like a lint roller, for getting dog hair off your clothes. And I use that to get all the little bits and pieces of glue and whatnot that's stuck to my mat. So now I'm going to do the back cover, and I'm going to cut this piece of paper down to 5 by 10. And I'm going to just put adhesive on all the edges and in the middle for good measure. And I'm going to stick it down. And I'm using my box cutter, and I am doing this last in the video sequence, but it was one of the first things I did. So it was before I got my glass mat and before I got the blade nice and sharp, so that's why it's kind of taking me a while to get it done. But I covered it in paper, and now I'm getting my spouncer and my color box fluid chalk ink in chestnut roan, and I'm just inking the edges. And I like using spouncers with ink. I think it gives a nice soft look. I get them in the stenciling aisle of the craft store. They're basically thick. And then here's the piece of acrylic that I'm going to use for the front. I've already cut it down to 5 by 10, and now I just need to punch the holes and remove the protective layering from the adhesive, which was a little bit harder to do, but I finally did get it. And now, since I'm working with acrylic, everything I do needs to be two-sided. Round mats that are 3.5 inches by 4.5 inches, and I've rounded the corners, and I'm going to glue them to either side of the acrylic cover where that window is. So there's the first one, and now doing the second, and you see how the adhesive shows through and looks yucky? That's why I have to make sure that whatever I do front and back. So here's 2 pieces of pink in 3.25 by 4.25, and I'm going to adhere those on top of the brown. And that's what it looks like as it lays over the cover. So next, I'm going to get out my chipboard letters, which are, the title's going to be Princess. So there you can see I got those. And I'm using the color box fluid chalk ink Cat's Eye in chestnut roan to ink the edges. And I'm not being very precise with this. I'm just doing it a little bit quick and messy, and I like how that turns out. So now I have lined up the letters on the acrylic album, and I'm going to use glossy accents to stick down the chipboard. And I can see through the album to the grid on my cutting mat, so I know I'm getting them in a perfectly straight line. And once I'm done putting these all down, again, the nasty back of the chipboard is going to show through to the other side, so I'm going to have to do something to cover them, and whatever I use to cover them will have to look good from both sides. So it's definitely, working with acrylic is a little bit trickier, just because, you know, it is clear, but you can always do fun things with it. Here I'm just punching out some scallops, and that's what I'm going to use actually to put behind the princess. I'm going to make some scallop circles and adhere them on the other side so that they show through, and that will highlight where it says princess and also give me something on the other side to do something fun. So I'm just using the memory book glue dots to stick the circles to each other, and I'm actually going to make a sandwich where they have scallops on both sides. So like the larger pink scallop would have 2 smaller brown scallops, one on either side. Because when I flip it over, I want it to look cute. So you can see I'm going back through and adding the backs. And basically what I did there is I used glossy accents, and I put glossy accents in the shape of the letter so that the letter covers that adhesive. And I'm hearing those. And now I want to put this last piece up on a pop dot. So at first I thought 2 pop dots would be enough when I stuck it down. But it was really, really wobbly. And I didn't like it. So I am cutting some pop dots and putting them behind the N and the I so that it will have a sturdier adherence, and it won't be sagging in the middle or really wobbly. Just checking to make sure I can see anything. And now I'm peeling off the backs so I can stick down my scalloped circle. And I like the way that looks. So now I'm adding dots of glossy accents because I want to add some bling. And I'm going to use up the last of that jewelry aisle bling that I had. And on the back I'm just going to put bling in a circle around the edges of the scallops, and then on the front I'm going to scatter it kind of around the letters. But it will still be over the scalloped circles where they show through on the back so that the glue doesn't show. So you see I'm putting it where there's a scalloped circle so that you won't see any of them from the other side. And this pretty much uses up the last of my jewelry store bling. So that's the end of that. And now I'm just going to reassemble the book with its rings, and it's finished. So here, let's look at it up close. There are the letters and the little bits of bling where it says princess, and you can see the scallops. And then flip it over, and there you could do like a photo mat, put a photo on the mat, and some tiny circle photos on those little scallops. I think would look really cute. So here's a chipboard cover with the window that shows through to the other side, and you see how the acrylic mat also shows through the window. So the window's functional in both directions. And there's the bling and the sticker and the little bits of chipboard that we used. And here's the grunge board and the chipboard flower. You can see the dimension, and the green is really fun. I really like how that turned out. And then the grunge board with the bling. I love these grunge board flourishes. They're so fun. I need to use more of them. And so here's the page that we did. That's the brad that I cut the prongs, so you can see how it worked really well. And there's the other one. And there's the photo mat that's on the back of that mini file folder that we did. And you can see how when you put your photo in there, the brackets will be on either side, and it'll look really cute. And there's the heart-shaped bling on the border sticker, and the mini file folder with the journaling spot, and a place for a picture, and also a place for a picture on the front. And you could put a picture there as well. And then same on this page, the mini file folder has plenty of places for pictures and journaling. And there's the back. Pretty simple. I like to keep my back simple. So that concludes the Princess album. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be going out of town for a little while, so there won't be any new videos right away. But when I get back, I'll make sure to film some more. So thank you for watching.